It makes no
straighten
sense.
it to keep it straight.
Really?
Yeah.
Or else it gets super curly.
My shit, I'm trying to grow long, and it's just like it goes crazy.
That's a lot.
Crazy.
It's a lot of work.
I feel like
When I first moved out here, I had it.
Oh my
I think I
gosh.
had it banging, yeah.
And I swear you can never guess like what race y'all are to some degree. It's hard. So Cass, you want to kick it off?
Oh no, you're doing that.
Well, welcome to In the Lobby, y'all. Happy to have everybody back. We have Cass and I back doing an episode together, but more importantly, we have two friends of mine, two individuals, but a set of twin brothers that really, you guys are established as your own, but really are well respected in my book. I've witnessed you guys grow into great men and have been, honestly, whether it be from a distance or very close, intimately tied to stories that I do know about you guys. I respect you guys, and I think very highly of you. So we're happy to have you on here, and we got Ron and Brandon Jackson. So thank you very much for joining In the Lobby.
Of course. And honestly, from like a marketing perspective, identical twins sound that much better from an introduction standpoint. Like, I'm here with twins. He's 1 minute older than me.
Okay.
He's my little brother.
He says that all the time. But I tell people it's because I kicked him out of the womb.
Well, let me ask you this: Who wins in a fight?
Oh, go ahead. I'll let you take this one.
Okay, I will be the first one to say probably 90% of our life, 95% of our life, it would be Ron.
Yeah.
I think if we go way back to childhood and high school.
You had a couple W's?
No. It would be Ron.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the W's. He was I think a born innate fighter. I always say he should have been an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
He always had an aggression.
It's a great backup plan, man.
He was he was always drawn to kind of that type of art of fighting, you know. And then I've obviously been in some scuffles with him growing up, and he likes it. You know, I don't like to fight.
I can't imagine you guys as fighters until I witnessed one moment where it's like you guys you're the wrong ones to piss off, because I do see that you guys fought for the right thing in that moment that we had experienced together. So I think that's maybe something we leave off the podcast. But either way,
yeah, we don't want anything coming back.
Yeah, your story does have context, so I could see that. But there's a fight too, right? Like there's a fight that you guys have experienced in me getting to know you guys and just like how you've gotten yourself to where you are today. And I think that'll be fun to explore here on the episode as well.
Well, I mean, I can't even say enough, like, how highly Roger talks about you guys. Because, like, from day one, which Roger and I were, like, coworkers. And Roger's always, like, cast podcasts with me.
She turned me down so many times. She's like, fuck no, I'm not putting you on my goddamn podcast.
Yeah, I was like, what do I get?
Wait, you already had a podcast?
I already had a podcast called Pain in My Cast.
Yep.
And Roger was like, do you need, like, a co-host? And I was like, why? I was like, I'm doing everything by myself. Anyway, long story short, became co-host. I finally was like, all right, you know, this might work out well for me, male and female dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, day one of us having the podcast, it was, like, you guys who he wanted as guests. So
100%.
That's so funny.
And
honored.
He's been hyped, like...
I've been a little bit too excited.
Happy to be
I know.
here.
I feel like
I've been low-key, like, fanboying in our
Get live up
text.
to it, you know?
But I think that's what's funny, because, like, I'll have some of my friends on, and then now he's, like, having his friends on, and it's, like, I didn't even realize how great you guys all were until last night when we started doing the screening call, and I was like, shit, like, I'm hyped about this episode now, like...
Well, I mean, how about we do like an appropriate introduction too for our audience?
Cool.
Why don't you guys just tell us like where you guys are from originally, how you got to Austin, because your timelines actually are a little different when you both got here.
Absolutely. Yeah. We could start. I think I want to start also by saying, you know, what's funny? I just realized Ron and I, to some extent, are into content. He does it full time.
Yep.
That is his way of life, and I've done it for many years now. And we've seen to what people would call a lot of success. You know, millions
100%.
and millions of views
100%
on YouTube. This is our first ever time doing a podcast since we ever started making content.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Before COVID. Before COVID,
In the
this is
lobby.
the first time we've ever been we ever
Let's go.
I know, I'm like, this is lucky, we get you guys.
I mean,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's crazy. But to start off, you know, obviously Ron and Brandon here, we were born in California, Sacramento to be specific.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of an adverse upbringing, some would say.
Sure.
Bounced around. We were in a group home, and ultimately we were adopted from our grandparents and our aunt.
Well, why were we in a group home, Brandon? I feel like that's meaty. That's a meaty part of the story. Like because I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, if someone says that, and you leave out a part that is.
All right, Jay Shetty, go ahead.
Yo, he's in some hot water right now, actually.
Oh, I know. It's bad.
Is he?
It's bad. Yeah.
Why?
It's
I
a
like
lot of.
Jay Shetty.
Yeah. A lot of like
Crazy.
false claims and
Yeah.
like. Anyways, we don't need to talk about it. I think dude is killing it.
All right, Ed Milet, go ahead then.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, I mean,
I love
so
it.
our mom was 17 when she had us.
Yeah.
Our dad was 22. They
Okay.
were too young. They met partying in Sacramento. Both didn't go to college. My mom dropped out of middle school.
Dang.
Dad barely graduated college or high school. I don't even know if he did. But anyways, just not ready to have us, let alone have twins.
Yeah.
Fast forward, they split up when we were 2. They never got married or anything, but they tried to make it work, living
Sure.
in and out of 1-bedroom apartments. She was an alcoholic from the moment she had us. She claims she didn't drink when she had us in her stomach, so bless her for that part.
I mean, you
That's
guys,
huge.
you guys are killing it as individuals.
But
so
our
it's like-
dad has come
Yeah,
forward
our
and
dad
said
says
that
that she
our mom
did.
did drugs, our mom did this, and I don't know how you guys are still like fully functioning.
Yeah, I'm like, it's alive if
Yeah.
she did, because you guys are fully functioning for sure.
Yeah, and so, but she got custody of us, which is also kind of a gray topic because our dad claims one thing happened. Our dad claims that.
Man, let's call spade spade. He just didn't want to take
Yeah,
the full
he wasn't
responsibility.
ready.
Let the mom take the kids.
Fair.
Exactly.
While
And-
he still was living his life in his 20s.
And do they communicate today, or
No one communicates with our mother. We haven't talked to her.
Well,
like
she reaches out to you like over the last couple of years. Like you talk to her from time
she's
to time.
text me. Yeah, I haven't seen her
Got it?
in 20 years.
Is she still in Sacktown, or
We believe so. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
like there's no address. You know, she
Wow.
doesn't. It's been a very. I mean, I've gotten
it's-
calls saying I'm living in a tent
Yeah.
Damn.
on the streets of Sacramento. Like,
I
can you
need
send
money.
me money?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's why
Wow.
when he says she reaches out, it's for money.
okay? Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money, or it's like a collect call. She just got arrested.
Yeah.
And so it's like every 2 years we'll start getting blown up and she needs money or something. But anyways, back just to catch us up to today. Yeah, she ended up just getting arrested over and over, which ended up at one point the court saying you are not fit to raise these kids.
Absolutely.
And put us in a group home.
I mean, if you're talking about meat and potatoes, you forgot Mike.
Yeah. Okay. So
And who's Mike now?
So Mike is our stepdad.
Okay.
So
That
what
was the
happened?
trigger.
Yeah. So what happened was our mom remarried, and she ended up
A drug
marrying
lord.
a drug like a really big drug dealer in Sacramento. Like
Got
he was
it.
really big. He ended up getting set up, and
Damn.
SWAT team. Like
it
straight out
was-
of a Netflix documentary.
For sure.
SWAT team, helicopters, just to raid him. He had a trunk full of, I think it was cocaine.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it was blow.
Got what you need.
And he had just bricks, I guess, whatever it was, and
Yeah.
and he was looking at like 15 to 20 to life just
Jeez.
for the intent to sell. So he got locked up. He went down. He was the sole provider. My mom wasn't even working. She's
Okay.
We
never,
all lived in the house.
So
Like,
now
he was
this- okay.
he was kind of like our father figure.
yeah.
Absolutely.
For at least 3, 4, 5 years, and then he got locked up.
Yep. And it's when he got locked up that kind of the court stepped in and was like, okay, now who are these kids going to be with? And
It was straight up social services while we were in school. Came at the doors like, Ron and Brandon, come with us. Like, you know,
Jeez.
Wow.
like we're taking you guys. And
And it's,
How old were you? when
Yeah.
this was happening?
grade?
yeah.
So that's old enough to know that's
you know what's
you
going
know
on.
what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
oh yeah, like we knew whenever someone came out the door, like in school, you know, you're in a class
Yeah.
of like 20, 30. Like
You knew what was
okay,
going on.
There was a 50-50 chances for Ron and I for something.
But
So
Dang.
she raised you guys at Sound, or they raised you guys to like kind of like a pivotal point, because like 5th grade, you're like what, like
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
You developed your a portion of your frontal lobe and some of your
Yeah.
identity. So
yeah. And up until that point, we had already like experienced so much, and I genuinely believe our brain blocked out so much
Sure.
of it. Like more than half of my childhood, I I can't even
It's
tell
hard to
you
reference
because
yeah.
like our brain, I think it's all trauma.
Yeah.
And so I do remember like highlights of just crazy like parent teacher conferences, right? And our mom would show up drunk and come and end up fighting with the teachers. The teachers call the cops, and like we're sitting there like embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then there's other memories that I have of her getting drunk, and it's just us three, and she runs at us with a knife because she's blacked out drunk.
Yeah, she doesn't even know what's going on.
I'm
And
talking like naked,
naked, a
Jeez.
knife,
spitting on us,
and it's
yeah.
raining outside, and the only thing we can do is we run outside. She'll lock us out of the house and say, "You guys are never," just she's blacked
and they'll
out.
pass
Yeah.
out, and we will be outside for the rest of the night.
And we sleep outside and it's raining. Or I've had to, like a couple times I like would break in. One time I had this exact situation has happened several times.
Yeah.
But I had to break the window just because it was raining so hard, just to unlock
get the
the door
door
to
unlocked.
let us in. And I sliced my hand open, and him and I just in the kitchen, like I just wrap it up, paper towel, tape, and it's just like, all right, let's go to bed. And then we wake up in the morning. She wakes up and she's like, "What happened?"
Yeah,
Wow.
house will be thrashed.
She'll
and
just be
she's
like,
"What happened?"
Yeah.
Well, I think the other part to all of this too is like as you guys give a little bit of insight here for our audience, the part that's so amazing to me about both of you is you don't lead with this.
Oh yeah.
Like-
we've never talked about
Yeah.
this in this depth.
Yeah.
Ever.
And to know that you don't lead with it, you clearly are working on those traumatic experiences, right?
Yeah.
And working through that, I mean, for me, I know as a man, it's hard to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's something that I respect about you guys. You guys are very vulnerable, but you also aren't stupid. You don't lead with this. You don't open with this. You don't build trauma bond connections with people for it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I definitely respect about you guys.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite is what we try to build and bond,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
is what I would definitely make the argument for.
But
'Cause, there's some people that probably don't even know this.
No.
Yeah.
There's probably gonna be people that we've met in Austin
They'll have no clue.
that we've partied with that have like we probably said I loved you.
Yeah.
And they
Have not even the slightest
But
idea.
that's completely okay.
Yep.
Everyone. What I've also learned is everyone has a story.
Absolutely.
Everyone has
Yeah.
something they've gone through,
Right.
their own trauma.
Right.
They've all gone through their own journey. So that's important too.
I
So,
respect you guys for that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
That's how I always feel. I'm like, everyone's journey is so different. It's not that anyone necessarily had it harder or worse.
Right,
It's
right.
just so different.
Right.
And we all go through our own experiences. And I feel like you guys were very blessed to have a twin.
Oh my.
Oh,
to
yeah.
be right there with you.
nailed that on the
Yeah.
head.
You guys are probably each other's. You
Yep.
know how you hear
We wouldn't be
I'm
here
my
right
brother.
now.
Yeah, I'm my brother's keeper, right?
Yeah.
You guys are each other's angels.
It's so. I mean, that is a blessing that we'll never be able to fully even explain to
Yeah.
someone because, like, to have a partner we always had each other, so it didn't matter what the night was,
Dang.
like what the life was throwing at us. Like, we always had each other.
Yep.
That is. I mean, that's really what got us through
Yeah.
everything.
And do you feel like, because I know you came to Austin first too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was a crazy
Big
time
leap
too.
of faith.
Yep.
Was that hard when you left your brother? And
Yeah.
then do you think that you motivated your brother to join Austin after you'd kind of settled in a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you visited as well while he was
You
here.
visited for like your bachelor party I threw here.
Yeah, so
Love
there's
it.
obviously he said my bachelor party, so there's a crazy story to that as well.
What?
But the stars that aligned to allow me to be in a place to relocate to Austin by
Yeah.
myself, he was obviously the main reason to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's a lot of
I
us
mean,
that aren't
I
from
feel
here.
like it's even almost like further back than that because I'm just like so fascinated looking where you guys are at today. So you like grew up, you left your mom's home, you went to a group home, you're 10 years old in a group home. I have no idea what that's like.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, when you say group
Crazy.
home, I'm like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's like what maybe you've seen in the movies where our group home was a temporary one. It wasn't a foster home where you're actually potentially living permanently
Yeah.
under a family. It's more like an establishment in which you're waiting until the court or your parents or someone decides
Yeah.
what's gonna happen next. So it was literally almost like a camp, like
Yeah.
not in a bad way camp, but
Sure.
like
Yeah.
a
Bunch of
YMCA
kids,
camp.
yeah.
There's like 100 kids of different ages and they're in different like building sections and one playground for everyone and it was
and how long do you wait?
Wow.
Like, or how long? What's the maximum amount of time you can wait there? And how long
Ooh,
were y'all
that's
there?
a good question.
So I think a lot of group homes don't. It's kind of like a dog pounds.
Okay, got it.
So you know how some dogs will get adopted and they're only there 2 nights.
Sure.
Others won't. And I don't think it's the same in every group home, and I think every...
For sure.
But that's kind of how I look at it, is it's this middle ground between kids without guardians or parents and then foster care, basically.
Okay.
And it's like, where do you put the kids that don't have anyone claiming them? You put them in a group home. And then from the group home, it's like, all right, let's see the different paths these different kids have. So it's either foster
And do they
care.
choose that path or you choose the path?
As a kid, you don't choose.
You don't have
Okay,
any
got
say.
it.
Yeah.
Got
You don't
it.
have any say.
Until a certain age.
And on that note, which is something, not that we left out on purpose, but during this whole transition of us going to a group home and growing up, our mom and our stepdad, Mike, had a kid,
Jeez.
our half-brother,
Oh, wow.
and he was 2 when we were 10. So
Okay.
he went into the group home at 2 years old,
That's crazy.
and he stayed there until he was 8.
What?
Wow.
In the system, we call it. That
And
people call
is he a part of your life today?
Yes, but not. So he just got out of jail.
Okay.
He's 26.
Yeah.
I speak to him now. I'm trying
Yeah.
to help him
For sure.
in any way I can get on track. He's stuck in SAC because of probation.
Absolutely.
So we cannot leave. But let's just say, I mean, he just graduated in high school because he was in jail, and they have a program you can get your GED.
For sure.
So up until that point, which was last year, he never graduated high school, and he has multiple felonies.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's been a very tough go for him.
He's on drugs.
He's definitely,
Dang.
he admits it, but he also he's very smart and he wants to do good. And so I'm really hoping that this time around, we're able to get him into a good place, because often what happens is we support, give money, provide, and then people can go ghost and then
For
get
sure.
that collect call.
For sure.
And that happens. It's a repeat.
Yeah.
It's all about your environment though.
That's it.
And so his environment has never changed in 15 years.
And
it's the exact same, even now.
So he was in there from 2 to
8.
To 8.
And
Were
when
you
his
guys
dad got out of prison, and then our mom and him were able to get him back.
and you guys were in there from 10 to
10.
Okay.
We
got
were
it.
we were in there less than 6 months.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Because
Which is still crazy.
Right. Which is-
Like
so, and this is, I truly believe the main
Guardian
reason
angels.
why we're here
Yeah.
today, and like not where our little brother is,
for sure.
not in prison, dead, on drugs, on the streets. It's because our aunt, with the support of her parents, our grandparents, and this is on my dad's side.
Yeah.
Our dad is half Japanese,
Okay.
so our dad's mom.
That's where y'all get all this
Full
perfect
Japanese.
hair.
Yeah,
Something like that.
and
The DJ Khaled beards.
our but our aunt was the one who made the decision. She was 21,
Okay.
and she made the decision to
Was
adopt
she
us.
18 or 21?
I thought she was 21.
Wow.
Well
Might
then
have been 18. But long story short is she was living in the Bay Area, a city called San Mateo.
okay.
And that's where Tom Brady from, Barry
For
Bonds.
sure.
And essentially drove up. She was in our lives as much as she could prior. Come see us.
I mean,
for,
she was
like,
young.
birthdays. She was young.
Yeah.
But she was our fun aunt, and she loved us, and she
Yeah.
was such a big heart. Drove down and basically said, I'm getting them and taking custody.
Love.
And took us
Wow.
out of the group home, and we moved to San Mateo
Okay.
to live with her and her mom and dad, our
And
grandparents.
she raised us.
And she
Wow.
raised us.
So from,
10 until... end
10
of high
on,
school.
yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
until she had us graduate and both go to college.
So then I
What
have
an amazing woman, though.
Yeah.
Like,
She is.
Savior.
Do you guys just feel like you kind of like grew up with her at the same time though, because she was like so young?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Yes,
and
but she was
no.
so mature.
so
yeah.
mature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I look at her as more of like a mother figure.
Right.
Now that we're older though,
Yeah.
yeah,
we're 34.
for sure.
She is 44 because she's 10 years older than
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now it
That is.
feels like as we're getting older, like
It's a
age
version.
gap like kind of gets smaller, right?
For
like
sure.
40 and 50 now is like 30 and 40. So we looked at her as a mother for so long, and now it's like it feels super cool and interesting in the same time that we're just feeling closer, more able to bond. But one of my main motivations is to repay her and our grandparents, to
Yeah.
show
Oh, yeah.
them that if it wasn't for you, every dollar that I have today, I strongly believe I wouldn't have if it wasn't for them, right? Like that is just
100%.
fact. And so it's like, what can I do to give back? and that's what I'm constantly driven by, is like, how can I take care of her and them, which is like,
and I think
it's beautiful though. I feel like you guys function from like a place of gratitude, just listening to what you're saying.
For sure.
Like even about your younger brother and your aunt, like it just seems like you guys are so grateful for where you're at and like still trying to take care of those people that are important to you in your life. So that's really admirable and really cool.
And it leads me to your younger brother was the product of his environment.
Exactly.
Right? So who was y'all's kind of like guardrail, or other than your aunt, your guardrail, your version of like man that you really looked at for guidance, or
I would probably
role model? Like I mean, I'm trying to say it without saying role model because I'm sure you guys probably had some trust issues as well to like even look at any sort of guy and be like,
our grandfather was a sturdy hand. He was very strict. He was in the Vietnam War. He's Filipino. He's born and raised Hawaii. Very, very cultured in that way.
For sure.
So he was always a good person. Make your bed. Get up at 5 a.m. You know, like he would come in with the pan, like reveille, and like get us up. And there was certain things that looking.
Can y'all speak another language as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But then also I pay a tribute to our basketball coach, Brett Stevenson from high school.
Sports was
everything.
Was our biggest outlet throughout high school.
So y'all could ball?
Oh yeah.
I mean, used to. I haven't. I haven't. Touched.
Now we're talking about balling. It's be on the golf course.
I'm over here like I got a men's league.
Don't play with Roger because sometimes he'll come in here. He's like, Cass, like I'm hurting today.
Oh, I'm still gimping. Y'all didn't see me come up these stairs.
Yeah, that's.
I mean that was I didn't. I mean that's a whole nother. Well, we could talk offline about
for sure
about hooping and stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is what really drove us to like get through high school. That was like so to his point, our coaches did play a big role, and then our dad came back into our life
in high school,
like towards the tail end of high school.
Was he healthy at that point?
Yeah
Okay.
I mean, he's still he was healthy. I think it was more of a mental like confidence, like just not
contribution.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
I can only imagine as a young dad not being the person capable, like if your sister has to step in and raise your two kids,
For sure.
your younger sister,
I'm sure that hurts a man's pride, and
Absolutely.
so like he had a lot of things that he had to overcome, and he's come such a long way. He lives here in Austin now, by the way.
Oh wow.
So we convinced him to move out here.
He's such an amazing.
Is he thriving?
Now he's thriving now.
Good.
And he's helped us get through so much. Like our relationship has been better in the last 3 years that we've all been here than it ever has. So
that's
like
awesome.
It's cool. That's come full circle.
The last thing I'll say is the role model question. A rep of mine asked and said, like where'd you get your mindset and stuff like that.
I mean, you guys are very mentally strong as well.
Thank you. And I was. It took me a while to answer that because there wasn't one, but I think when I reflected with Ron and I
feel like Ron's a little softer now, but like y'all, that's how I met you guys. Like I mean, meeting you guys, you could feel another guy around you and their energy and be like, you mentally got it going on, right?
Yeah.
Like, if somebody's tuned in energetically.
Right.
And I knew that.
So that's what I was going to say. You said gratitude, law of attraction.
Yeah.
All of that is real. And back to my point of role model is the internet.
Yeah.
YouTube, videos, music.
Yeah.
Back in the day before YouTube, like all of that was an outlet for us, whether we can even remember it or not. I know how important it was for us to get where we are. I mean, watching videos of certain people and like motivational speakers from years ago, it's just you could program your brain. Well, let's reprogram it too.
Let's lean into that, right? Because California, I feel like gets a lot of credit for the YouTube come up, right? And gets a lot of credit for the exposure of kind of like influencers at a young age, honestly. What motivated you guys to do like the identical reaction channel? Because it's like...
Oh yeah, and can you guys explain what that is to people who don't know?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say what it is first and foremost, we knew we always wanted to do something together.
Yeah.
Since we were young, we always had that ambition, and we knew it was always there.
Yeah.
And as the world would have it, I think COVID was actually probably a light on us to say, hey, let's try something.
Yeah.
And it did start as a podcast called Identical Disagreements, which we were talking about before we recorded, which at the time, it was just our voices, as a podcast typically is.
Yeah.
And we realized we're identical twins. People need to see us.
100%.
They need to see our passion against each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we
y'all bicker.
We do. I also need to give credit to Ron. Is he is the mastermind behind all the YouTube and
That's
marketing. Awesome. He did a couple channels prior to us doing something. He's been the entrepreneur between us two. I've been on a more of a corporate ladder approach.
Absolutely.
But we always, I'm always about multiple streams of income, side hustle, doing those types of things. And so I knew when we decided to do it, but wanted to give him a shout out there. I don't know,
Ron.
I don't know if I do it enough because he really is really brilliant with stuff like that. But then we switched to YouTube and we decided in COVID, I was still living in San Diego. Literally, we just had our iPhones and then I got like a $20 mic. He probably had nicer stuff.
Sure.
And I just like would pin the phone and we'd go on FaceTime, 1, 2, 3, and we'd both hit record at the same time and just record ourselves. And it was really janky.
Yeah.
But that's how we kind of started Identical Reactions.
Okay.
And then if you want to talk about how it kind of blew up, I think I don't want to just take all the credit of speaking.
Yeah. Or what? Yeah, you have.
I was just because so you guys both went to college, which I'm so impressed by, right? You were saying so. Were you guys like when you started doing the content creation? Did you have a career on the like? Were you guys doing this on the side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we both went to college. I went to. So he went to San Diego State.
Yeah.
Context right out of high school. I didn't get into any of the colleges that I wanted to. So I made the decision to actually move out to San Diego where he was and go to junior college out there. And I was I'll just stay out there with you. Yeah. And then I'll just transfer to SDSU. I didn't focus on my grades as much as I should have. I didn't end up getting into SDSU after 2 years going to junior college. So I ended up going to Sacramento State.
Got it.
So I actually went, that was actually the like a big.
First time
that's the first time you guys were apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, it's cool. I'll go to Sac State for a year and I'll just transfer. I'll get my grades up and I'll transfer.
Yeah.
But I ended up, I had a girl out there. I ended up meeting some of my lifelong best friends. So anyways, that is what our college situation was. I graduated college, then I moved. He was still in San Diego. He never left San Diego. He went there and he was like, San Diego's the best city in the world.
Yeah.
He stayed there.
It's still, I mean,
and he had
money aside, I think, it's a great spot.
And he had a very serious relationship, which we can dive into if we want.
Is that the marriage?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
My high school sweetheart, 15 years.
Wow.
Together.
You're married to your high school sweetheart?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
We split when I was 29, so about 5 years ago.
Wow.
Got it.
They went to college together.
We went to high
did
school, college, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Bought a house.
But so
no kids.
He was like in his own bubble. His life was already figured out there in San Diego. But I graduate college and I'm like, damn, I want to go back. Like for whatever reason.
For sure.
And it was actually at that time that I started thinking about content. And I was like, man, if we went to the same city, this is back when like I just started watching like Vine, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
And I started like Twitch just became a thing. And I was watching this dude named Nick Merckx.
I don't remember him, but we're the same age, so
Bro,
it's like I'm.
So yeah. I was watching him in college when he was getting 15 to 20 viewers a night.
Yeah.
Today, his net worth is like 30 million. He was the number one Twitch streamer for like a couple of years. He's like a massive dude.
Yeah.
He gets like 30,000 viewers. I think he might be on Kick now. But anyways, all this stuff was just motivating me. I'm like, there's nothing that these individuals possess that Brandon and I don't possess. Like
for sure.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, what can they do?
Yeah.
What? And like in my head, I was always this super confident, and I always knew like almost to a fault, delusional amount of confidence in the sense of like I would tell people in college, man, I'm gonna retire when I'm 30.
I love it.
I mean, I'm 34 now. I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, some would argue I'm retired because I do what I love and I'm a YouTuber. But anyways.
Oh yeah.
So, tying all that back in. We go out there, we get in the corporate world.
Yeah.
So.
And you both went tech?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went tech right off the bat.
Okay.
I got into recruiting. and I was at like a staffing agency. And for those that don't know, I basically was helping people find jobs.
Yeah.
And I was living in San Diego. He was in sales in tech in San Diego, and things are going well. I end up getting a job at Google.
Wow.
And they told me when I got that job to be in recruiting, they said you can either go to the Bay Area headquarters or you can go to Austin, Texas. I'd never even been to Texas.
I hear you.
And I'm living in San Diego, and I'm like, man,
fuck it.
F it. I'm like, at the time, I had no girlfriends, no strings attached. I was like, leap of faith, why not?
Yeah.
Worst case, I hate Texas.
Go back.
I'll move back to San Diego. I'll quit Google. I don't care. I'll find another job. Like, I was like, just, again, a lot of confidence. And so I come out here. I'm on my own. I'm super just like grind mode motivated. That's when I started content creation. I was like, I need to start doing something on the side.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to regret it. And I just know, I'm like, man, I'm destined for so much more. I need to like just have an impact. Whatever it is, there was this calling. I know that sounds cliche and corny, but I just knew like
there was something.
Like I literally used to watch, and I still do. Like I watch Justin Bieber, and I'm not even 1/100th as talented as a human being as he is, but I remember thinking like, I feel like I can be in a world like that, and all the things he's receiving, I can receive, and I was like, all right, I just got to start doing something. So, I created a couple different YouTube channels.
Went through a lot of different channels.
I tried streaming, like I just was trying to find my niche, and then I was like, COVID hit, and I was like, Brandon, and he's grinding, so. But I was like, let's do a podcast. We'll do it after hours, after you get off of work, after we get off of work, and I'll do everything.
And I remember you were like changing jobs too.
Yeah, when I moved out here, I ended up then switching jobs, but I had already...
Which is hard to balance it too, right? Like,
I'm just like so in awe because the fact that you guys like even just like shifted your mindset this much from your upbringing, just even the fact someone could be like, wow, you're so successful just by having like your tech jobs and working for Google and both being successful in tech. And then you guys were like, you know what, like we believe in ourselves, we're gonna take it even one step further. Like, holy shit. Like,
you know what's it also I think is you guys maybe have a little bit of insights, but maybe viewers don't know. They're like, okay, like these guys are talking their stories and they're successful. What do you mean? What have they actually done? So I don't even think we've talked about some of the actual cool milestones, from a YouTube and just career standpoint that we've been able to hit, because I know as far as like timing goes and everything, but
I don't, what, before you even go on, it's weird is I don't even like talking about it too much, because it's like these are still in my mind stepping stones.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll have us back in 3 years.
I know, yeah.
And it's like I'll have, the million subscriber plaque. I'll have this business that is massive.
Lambo Urus.
Well, I'll give y'all a compliment to say something that I think a lot of people forget. It's like, yeah, you may dream about the intended life that you want. You may have that feeling of, oh, I can be or I will be. And I think everybody forgets there's an established date.
Yeah.
You look at a business and they say established in 2020, established in 2014, established in 1990, 1900. You guys deserve credit for the idea that you established something and you took that leap of faith and you tried.
Yeah.
And not only have you tried, you both are doing a hell of a damn good job at it throughout that process.
I think people don't even realize how hard it is to do content creation.
Oh, yeah.
And how fucking consistent you have to be. Because just him and I trying to do this podcast is like a side hustle. I'm like, this is a lot of fucking work.
It is. It is.
Yeah, with YouTube's, not only that is you do the same, you have to get on the same schedule, create the content, but then for the first like year and a half, Ron was manually chopping and screwing and creating videos, editing himself, so we would spend like 4 hours, 5 hours of recording a week while working full time. So for me, I would have to drive to his house on like Thursdays, and I'd be there from 7 p.m. to like 11 p.m. and I've worked the next day, and that's just recording.
I hear
come
you.
back over on Sunday, do the recording, and then he would have to edit 2-3 hours each day after that.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point where we can hire a team in the Philippines and different parts to help us create all that, but it's hard. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's the story that you hear most successful people, like, you have to be willing, you have to do what others won't so you can live how others can't. And the thing that I was willing to do is, like, I'd get off of work, I'd hopefully hit the gym, but I'd go home and I'd be up till midnight most nights. I mean, there were nights, like, it'd be Friday night and Brandon would be going out, my girl would be going out, they'd all be going out, and I'd be like, I gotta edit.
Cut this up, yeah.
So I'll be editing till 1, and she comes back.
I actually remember a night where that happened.
Really?
You came to the pregame and went home to go edit.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm surprised I went to the pregame because...
Because you dropped your girl off.
Oh, that's why. Okay, yeah.
You dropped her off. You popped in, said what up.
Yeah.
You were like, your brother's leaving. And I'm like, where's he going?
Yeah.
Because at the time, I knew you first, even though you came to Austin later.
Right.
And I'm like, am I seeing double, or am I that drunk at this party right now that I just saw? I'm like, I talked to you here, and I just saw somebody walk in and out of here that looked just like you. Yeah. And then that was when I got introduced to the idea that you guys were twins.
Yeah.
So I remember the moment where you left the pregame to go home and edit.
Yeah.
So it's really wild to hear a little bit more of this background to all of it, because it not only does it make sense, but it answers some of the questions where I was confused for a little bit. I was definitely confused.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like the YouTube algorithm, too, from what I've heard, is just like a fucking monster. Like, when you're putting out content, the people you're competing with, like Mr. Beast or like JoJo, what's her name? There's just so many people that you're competing with, and I think that algorithm is like a whole nother animal.
It's wild.
And I want to ask y'all as well. It's like we all have tattoos, all of us, but I think there's a version as well where I know some of the people that I've been associated with will make judgments because I've gotten crazy into some of my tattoos. Like I'm starting to go there, and I'm like, I'm over 30. They're like, what the fuck are you doing, right? Do you guys feel like you're ever stereotyped with your tattoos or put in a box?
He's in a good situation because he's his own boss.
Yeah.
He's a full-time YouTuber. He could tattoo his whole face. I mean, he's tattooed neck down.
Yeah.
And he probably feels great about it because that's the trade-off, and it's part of one of the rewards of it. I will say, being in tech, there are times where I sadly have to wear a button-up when it's 100 degrees out.
100%.
Because I'm going to go meet a CRO I've never met before, or I'm going to have lunch, with someone, or whatever it might be. So
even interviews, man.
Even interviews. There's truth to it. I think the society and the industry has gotten a lot better.
For sure.
And we're getting that way. Because I remember there's a few times early on, one of Ron's boss at Google was fully tatted up.
Yep.
And probably was a reason why he felt it was
100%
was okay. I mean, if you're at Google, and he's wearing a t-shirt, V-neck, and like tats.
Yeah.
There's a reason, and I think if you're good at what you do, and
it doesn't matter what you look like.
Right.
Genuinely.
Well, but there's two sides to it always. But unfortunately, people still judge by what they see.
Yeah.
And maybe it's when you deal with older generations or even younger, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
There's still parts of that that we just have to roll with the punches
and maneuver ourselves through. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, tattoos are one thing, right? Like in corporate America, but like, did you guys start getting slack also for doing the content creation?
Oh, this is a funny topic because so many. There were several times where I remember right after work, people would be like, "We're going to happy hour," and I'm like, "Oh, I can't. I gotta go." And people would be like, "Bro, you're wasting your time. Like, where do you think this is gonna go? Like, what are you really gonna do, Ron? Like, like, you really think you can do this?" And some of these conversations have been just like planted in my head. Like, wow, like and
you don't forget those moments.
It's almost out of it. Like, there's a sense of, I don't want to say it's pity, because it really is like fuel
for sure.
But those doubters are like some of the reasons what kept me like going even more, is just because I know, just, man, Post Malone's Congratulations lyrics, if you need to listen to it and on a deeper level for anyone who hasn't, because people will doubt you and doubt you and doubt you, and for some of us you get there in 6 months, other of us you get there in 10 years. Like, for you guys, for this podcast, what I'd say is, like, even if you're not getting the results or rewards that you were hoping for, expecting, if you keep at it, like, eventually what's going to happen is people are going to be coming up telling you congratulations.
Absolutely.
And the people that at one point thought what you were doing was
are going to
a
tell
waste
other people
of time.
they know you.
They're going to
Yep.
tell people. They're going to be so pumped to be like, I know, and that's something that drives me as well, because I already know there are people that talk about me in little contexts like that, like they're so proud, or like, bro, I've been rooting for you, and it's like, all right, yeah, like, I know.
I
Dude,
remember the
Jordan,
conversation when it wasn't that way.
Yeah, exactly. And there's Michael B. Jordan. I don't know, it had this viral interview.
Yeah, with a bully.
A lady who used to make fun of him in high school.
And he called her out.
He was a nerd.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, and she's like, I'm here with Michael B. Jordan. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, the nerd, right?
I'm that nerd, right? Yeah. And she's like, no, I never said that. And he's like, yeah, okay. And like, to me, that like he that represents a lot. And so like for you and for anyone listening, man, everything that I was talking about when I look at like a Logan Paul, a Jake Paul, I know, think what you want about them. That's not the point. The point is, I'm not super special. And anyone that's listening to this, I'm from the bottom of my heart have something they can offer.
For sure.
But the reason why most people won't get to that level of success is because they never start, because they're too worried about other people's opinions.
That established date, man.
And then once they start,
they quit when they don't see results.
Because they don't see results. And that's it. And the thing is, no one can give you a timeline for when you're going to get the results. But all I'm telling anyone listening is like, whatever it is you think you can't do, like you can. There's nothing special. If anything, like, the odds were against both of us.
100%, yeah.
And it was just, I started, I was consistent, I was dedicated, and you push through.
And I think you hear that too. It's like there's so much in your story where you watch the ping pong ball go back and forth between you two, where it's like you were established in San Diego and you kind of came along for the ride, and then you were established in Austin and you kind of came along for the ride. And I think there's something else to that as well. It's like you don't forget that version of connection that you guys have. Not only is it from a level of like DNA, but you guys really do trust each other. You know how many family members are DNA connected and don't trust or love each other the way in which y'all do?
Yeah.
And I think that's very special. But I also feel like that could lead to some problems as well, right? Like, what would you say is maybe like one of the biggest misconceptions about either of you?
I think the biggest from both of us is, without hearing the story, they'll see us driving a nice car, or that we can speak very well. If you go out to dinner and you say, I am just being introduced to you guys for the very first time, and we have a great dinner and we leave. Never in a million years, would you guys think or know that we have had such a adverse background and be like, oh, these great, well-spoken redheads.
You guys don't lead
Caucasian.
with them.
They probably had such a good upbringing. Their family must, be super involved in their
100%.
lives. And so I think that's a huge misconception, for sure. That's I would say is the biggest. I don't know if there's anything else that comes to mind.
No, I mean, we have the same answer to a lot of questions, and that's one where I say the same. Like most people would assume.
I think another one, as I'm just thinking, is you guys are overly optimistic, or you're too positive. I got that my
I get this my whole life. It's all the time. People are like, what do you want? I'm like, me. I'm on me.
You're too,
like, I'm that positive.
What is it? There's a term for it. It's like toxic positivity, or
well, that's a whole different thing. That there is such thing as toxic positivity.
But to be honest, I think there's such thing as toxic anything at an excessive amount.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. Give me one thing, and if you are too much of it, it's a bad thing.
For sure.
Generous?
False positivity, meaning you're saying it, but everyone knows you don't mean it, you don't believe it.
There you go.
Fake.
That
is, in a way, what I refer to when it's like the toxic positivity.
You know
what I'm saying? When you're genuine, you believe it and you feel it. That's I think that's a different
it's a whole different world to exist in. And I guess that also leads to a version of like, how do you guys stand up against maybe versions of cancel culture, right? Because I think once people hear your story, they then want to discredit you. Once people learn about you and then see your success where you are present day, they then want to doubt you or say, you know what, there has to be something there. Like they want to try to figure you out.
Well, what I think is so interesting too about cancel culture is I feel like as a creator you have to be authentic.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel like people resonate with you.
Right.
Yep.
So if you're being
And your authentic self causes doubt.
and you say something that offends people and it's gonna I just don't know how you guys deal with this.
There's two things. Ron probably has a whole lot more, but I'll quickly say one is you establish your own mindset with cancel culture, and you realize. I realized early on we had a couple of videos that got millions of views, right?
For sure.
And when you get millions of views, you get thousands of comments. And if you early on, I'm like, dude, we just went from 300 subscribers to 50,000.
Yeah.
And I'm bored. I read comments all day, and you could get hit left and right with negative comments, and
Absolutely.
and it starts to get to you, and then you realize after a certain point that you can never please anyone. There's always keyboard rangers. There's
Absolutely.
And once you have that as a mindset, that's one way. And then I forgot what I was gonna say for the other one.
Yeah.
Forgot. Go ahead, Ron.
No, but what's funny is personally, I'm not super religious, but I use this as an example because I think it speaks volumes to anyone creating content. If Jesus Christ was alive and created a YouTube channel, people would be in the comments capping on his hair and his outfit.
All day, yeah.
So, like, if you understand that, it doesn't matter if you are all you want is good for the world, there's going to be haters. There's going to be people
100%.
ripping you.
I remember what I was going to say.
Say
it. The second thing is there's no real such thing as bad publicity.
No way.
So, granted, depending on what you say, like there's hateful and wrong things to say that I don't support and I won't say.
Yeah.
But if there's something where it's like it's debatable and people are trying to cancel you for it, but then it spikes your relevancy and online or wherever, then at the end of the day, you know, a lot of people have made a really good living from those types of situations.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up the Paul brothers, right? Like,
Right, exactly.
There's versions of that.
I mean, you could go Ryan Garcia,
Anybody,
Kanye West, like
Tate, Andrew Tate.
Tate.
I think
I actually like him.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't want to.
They said, really?
No, there's a lot of people that, and there's a lot of women that like him too.
Oh, okay, well,
but not as much as men. I think he, you know.
There's a lot of women that don't.
I know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
though.
I would love to have a conversation of your thoughts on that.
There's something there too where it's like you talk about there's no bad PR.
Yeah.
There's something there to say where it's like there's no one successful in the comments.
Yeah.
There's no successful person in the comments.
You will never be getting hate from someone that's more successful than in the comments.
And there's also no healthy person trying to dismantle somebody else.
It just makes them look so bad. Like,
Absolutely.
Julia Fox, she's like an influencer. She said she just leaves those comments there.
So they look crazy.
They live with it.
Yeah.
Like you said something stupid, it's going to sit there and you're going to live
100%.
with it. So
do you listen to Gary Vee?
100%.
Because that's what you said is exactly what he said, and,
really?
and I say this all the time, which is like no one who is happy is in the comments leaving negative comments
at all.
Like if anything, you should feel bad for that person because what kind of person is on their phone or laptop?
And you got to think about it.
Watching
that much.
someone else's content, taking the time to type something hurtful. Like what kind of what is that person going through to want to do that? And when you think about it that way, it's like,
and sometimes it's shocking too when you may be able to understand that on a computer, but sometimes people forget it when it's verbal as well, right?
Yeah.
Like if somebody verbally has to go to that great extreme to try to dismantle somebody else, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like that's a problem.
Yep.
A lot of people have that problem.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said, everyone's dealing with stuff too, so.
Yeah. I love that you brought up Gary Vee though too, because he was
he was just here.
At the other Pouch 6 studio.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's crazy just even like the podcasting scene in Austin who's coming around the studios, because I know you guys said you had a lot of people that like influenced you to create and like inspiration, role models, and a lot of them
Gary Vee's one of them.
Yeah. That's one of mine.
We have the same birthday, November
Really?
14th.
Wow.
Okay.
What sign is that?
Scorpio. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've hit him up a couple times on LinkedIn and stuff. I'm like, we need to launch a business, something around November 14th.
My buddy got a job from Gary Vee by just going to his live stream every single day.
Really?
Wow.
That's incredible.
He would literally comment, and this guy like
that is Gary Vee's motto, is like the consistency and just, you know, keep putting it up, being there, showing up.
bro, every day.
That's
like,
crazy.
That's what I say to him all the time, though. It's like, if you think about how fast time goes by, it goes by like this.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're consistent, time's going to go by, and you've been consistent, you're
It
going
left
to
you
end
in
up
the past.
where you want to be.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. I say that all the time, especially with content, man. Like, as long, there's one caveat, which is you're putting in at least enough effort to make small improvements.
for sure.
You know, Mr. Beast always says each video should improve by 1% in one aspect, whether it's a thumbnail, the intro,
Yep.
the edit, the music, whatever. But I strongly believe, and I'm actually coaching people. One of the businesses that I started was I'm coaching people to do what I do, which is I react to
Man,
stuff.
I might reach out to you.
No, seriously, because it's one of those things where it is such a low entry
Yeah,
to get started. All you need is a cell phone and a laptop.
love it.
But it's about consistency. If you upload every day,
Yeah.
right? Even if your first few videos get 1 view, 2, and you're only gaining 2 subscribers a week,
Yeah,
you might look at that like, damn, this is a failure. But that's going to compound.
yeah.
And if you never give up in 10 years, like
That compound interest is crazy.
And then you know, people will look and be like, oh, this person has a couple hundred, oh, a couple thousand. Also, because then when they see a bigger number, they're more likely to, and it'll
Absolutely.
just build. So it's inevitable that you will grow. The only way you don't grow is if you stop, or if you don't put in effort and you're just doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Oh, that's the definition of insanity.
Insanity.
Yep.
Yeah.
that is
exactly.
so cool. I'm like, we need to call you because we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
No,
we need
I
a
will-
coaching session.
I will. I'm happy to do it.
We've cracked a little bit of a code with it.
Please.
To some extent.
Oh.
And what's great about YouTube is like, we still get a check
Yeah.
from a video we did 2
Years ago. Absolutely.
Wow.
the
Like,
best.
it doesn't go away.
Yep.
It's the
So if
best
someone
platform.
finds you, you know how you guys have all done a rabbit hole.
100%.
You're going to the bathroom, or you're just chilling, you're waiting, and you're on shorts, or you're seeing a bunch of videos, and and you're going down rabbit holes.
I'm a New Yorker, and I say this for the reason of my rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's like I went down a rabbit hole one time about your guys' content with Michael Rappaport.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm looking through his stuff. I'm like, I fucking know these guys.
That's funny. Yeah. To your point, YouTube is, for anyone thinking about creating content, YouTube is by far the best platform.
number one
to do it.
platform.
Because it's the second biggest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
So what that means, you make a content that goes viral on TikTok, on Instagram, on any platform, you name it.
Yeah.
6 months from now, how is someone going to find that?
Oh, that's fair.
On YouTube, people search for things. They're always going to have access to videos. People are always going to be searching for videos. Your content is always accessible. People aren't scrolling on and watching old content, and it's also not something that someone can search for on these other platforms. Will that change? Probably.
Yeah.
But YouTube by far is the number one platform I'd recommend to anyone.
I mean, you guys have a lot to offer.
I know. I'm like,
and-
we have to close out,
Yeah,
but I'm like, I don't
it's-
really want to.
Yeah, you guys have a lot to offer. There's
That was
multiple
the iceberg,
ways.
I feel like.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. It's like there's multiple ways in which you guys can be utilized for anybody. Where can they reach out to you? Where can they find you? I think it's important for the audience to walk away and know that there's ways that they could access you for sure.
Yeah, so for me personally, my Instagram is just at Ron Jaxn, so at
Okay.
Ron Jackson.
Okay.
And
It's like a porn star name.
Ron Jackson. I'm Brandon Jackson. I'm Brandon Osborne Jackson. No, but my Instagram is Mr. B Jax.
Okay.
So, and it's just JACKS. So Mr. B Jax. Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
should be tagged in this.
Yeah, you'll definitely tag you guys.
But as far as the actual
YouTube.
content and stuff, I mean, we have identical reactions. You could check the YouTube out.
Okay.
We haven't posted on that in a while, but it's living and it's well.
Guys, spark
And I
it back
know-
up, man.
Yeah,
Like,
we,
you guys-
we do have plans to do something
Yeah.
with it, so
Yeah.
stay tuned there.
Yeah.
we can't let that fizzle out.
I mean, that's.
But I know we put a lot into it, but we learned a lot, and but I'm uploading content every day on a channel with my wife, actually, called Rice and Ginger.
That's awesome.
It's anime based, so if you're into anime, check out Rice and Ginger.
Let's go.
We just saw someone, I think he worked here with an anime shirt on.
Yeah,
really?
I shouted him
Gojo
out.
shirt. Yeah.
I was like, dope shirt, man.
We need to find out who that is.
Yeah.
But I'm really passionate about motivating people to get started with this stuff, because content creation is, not only is it the best job you can have in the world, but it's going to be the most powerful
100%.
as time goes on. When you think about the impact Mr. Beast has, when you think about, I mean, I use this example all the time, and I'm sorry if from a time perspective.
No, we're close now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
The Super Bowl is known as like the number one watched event in the US on television, and it normally averages around 100 million views.
I mean, they compared the women's draft to Super Bowl numbers,
right?
So it's kind of like the common denominator of comparison for everything.
The bar.
Yeah,
which
is the bar. Yeah,
which is interesting because so the Super Bowl is getting 100 million views on average every time it's
per Super
live,
Bowl,
right?
Okay.
And because of that, they're able to charge businesses, I think it's on average $7 million for 30 seconds for a commercial, right? Everyone knows the commercial is super expensive, but it's because that is this one time you get all these eyes, right? That is how much the Super Bowl can charge. Someone like Mr. Beast drops a video almost once a week that does 250 million views on average.
Wow.
So he's doubling the views that the Super Bowl does, which is Super Bowl is one day a year. Mr. Beast is doing it weekly. You know the trouble that YouTubers are getting into right now? Not even trouble, but the dilemma is he's breaking he doesn't know how much to charge, because how you charge someone is based on views.
Yeah.
And he gets
He's
too
an
many
anomaly,
views.
man.
He gets too many views. But what I'm saying is that should put into perspective the power and impact YouTube and content creators will have, because it's just going to get bigger and better. Content creators are gonna run the world
for sure.
They have the most impact. If The Rock wanted
to run for president,
if Mr. Beast wanted to, he can sway who the president is if he wanted
100%.
to. If he literally said, "Yo, everyone go vote for blank,"
there's a large
it's happening.
Yeah,
they said that about Taylor Swift too.
Taylor Swift.
Oh, there's
a lot of people with impact.
She's a boss.
Like they said that exact. She can sway the presidency.
Yeah,
crazy.
It is crazy.
That's a whole other the power of superstars today. Could be one of your guys' topics.
Wow. We love that. That's good.
I mean, we're gonna have to get you guys back too. Cause
I
there's so much.
There's a lot more. I didn't even. Yeah.
I want to know about your marriages, your dating experience. You're in Austin.
Yeah, that's true. Austin. I was single for many years now. I'm happily.
I think it's only fair though. We got twins,
you're not single,
so you deserve 2 episodes.
Right
let's go.
Okay. Sorry, ladies. No one's single.
We got twins. They deserve 2 episodes.
I know.
Real quick, sorry, and just to tie up everything, content creation is the way. And I promise you, everyone, if you have a passion, you're creating an excuse. If you think what you're passionate about, you can't make money on from a content creation perspective. With that being said, and I'm sorry, I'm super passionate about this.
Yeah, he is.
I'm trying to motivate and inspire everyone that I know to do it. And I know most people won't. Most of my friends, I pitch, I'm like, yo, start a YouTube, do this.
Yeah.
Most people won't. I get it. But those that do, I promise you, if you stick with it, you will end up creating a life that you love with freedom, more money than you ever could imagine. But with that being said, I do free live Q&As.
Love it.
Where I'll answer your questions. I post about it on my Instagram.
Okay.
And then I have a Discord, which I will answer questions as well.
Okay.
But then it's literally here's the Google link. Join if you want to join.
Wow.
It's gonna be, and because of how passionate I am, and I just want to give back. It's I've created this, and it's what's the point if I can't then share it and impact others?
Yeah.
And so,
it's a way of giving back.
It is. That's my big mission is, YouTube views, creating a platform is amazing, but what's the point if you're not using that platform to have a positive impact? what's the point? If you're not making someone else's life better, then you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
It's so, I mean, I'm like so inspired. Like,
Yeah.
You're like, screw the podcast, let's go do YouTube.
I'm gonna go home. Like, yeah.
You guys literally, this is the fact that you guys are getting the content
Yeah.
via video and
Right.
like you guys are doing it all. Like I was just saying before you got
Let's go.
here,